Hello, everybody. So today we need to talk about HIMS. HIMS did its acquisition. They acquired Zava. It's going to add 1.3 million users to the HIMS platform, and it's going to unlock Europe for HIMS. It's an amazing news. I love it very much. Let me get through this video quickly. The first thing to note is that HIMS is a fast mover, both the stock and the operations. The stock this morning was up nearly 20% at one point, and now it's really finishing up the day negative. That's quite incredible. It's as though the market, it's most likely because of a short activity, and I'll cover the short activity at the end of this video, but it's as though the market gets very excited about the news, and then the market remembers acquisitions bad, and they just sell it off, and it's Mr. Market for you. It's this knee-jerk reaction in the market. Whenever you have an acquisition, stocks sell off. It's called the post-acquisition announcement sell-off. It's always the case. It's ridiculous because in this case, the acquisition is good and the acquisition is small for HIMS. I am the first one to not like acquisition when they are big acquisitions. This is not a big acquisition relative to the size of HIMS. HIMS is now a mid-cap. HIMS is now a $12 billion company. So, volatile beast, still here. Don't, be careful with the calls, right? Be careful with options on HIMS. Second point is, I think it's worth mentioning, amazing, the moment between the cash raise, right, the 870 million offering that they borrowed, and the acquisition announcement, that took only 3 weeks. And so to me, that is very fast, very outstanding. This company moves fast. We just learned that they wanted to go international less than a month ago, and they're already going international. They're already announcing an acquisition, moving fast. The CEO being in the UK right now, posted this picture on Twitter. All right, so let's talk about now Zava. So Zava, how much did they pay? Was the acquisition good? What's going on? So first of all, yes, it's going to increase the customer base by actually 54%. I went back and calculated it. So that's an enormous acquisition in terms of adding customer count. They did not disclose the financial terms, but that's sort of a problem. We don't know how much they paid. They don't want to, give away the competitive details to others, to the competition. I understand why they don't say it outright, but how much could they have paid, right? How much could they have paid? Well, at this point, the last report, they had 322 million on their balance sheet, and they borrowed 870 million 3 weeks ago. So they have about 1.2 billion. But HIMS has always had a lot of a cash buffer on that balance sheet. So in my view, they likely paid under a billion. I would think they paid probably 800 million for a company like that. I'm just guessing, but I'm pretty darn sure it's less than $1 billion. And so ask yourself, a company that's worth $12 billion market cap spends less than 1/12 of the value, right? 800 million, that's even less than that, less than 1/14 of the value of a company. They spend it to essentially double their total addressable market, because they are not in every country in Europe, but they're going to have Germany and France, which are pretty big countries in terms of people, and they have the UK. So if you add Germany, France, the UK, you get a mini USA essentially. And if you were to expand to say add Italy, add Spain, and then boom, you would have a market that is the size of the United States in terms of size. So I think 800 million is more than a fair price. I think it's fine. It's a small acquisition. I'm fine with small acquisitions. I would have hated to see a company like HIMS do like an $8 billion acquisition or something like that, like older dying companies often do. They didn't do that. I love it very much. Is it going to be accretive? Well, that's the big question. So kudos to HIMS House. I'm going to give 2 kudos to HIMS House in the video. First kudos to HIMS House is they found the financials from back in the day, and whatever, it wasn't growing too fast back in the day. That's okay. You're building the business. You don't always invest in marketing as much as HIMS has had, right? Few businesses do marketing like HIMS does marketing. What catches my eye here is the gross margin at 76, 73%. Long-term HIMS has guided a 75% gross margin. The gross margin is very much in line with HIMS. So this is not going to be diversification. This is not worsening. This is a business that has the same gross margin profiles as HIMS USA, even though you'll see the average price of the drug sold is significantly cheaper for Zava. Medications seem to be much cheaper in the UK than they are in the United States. Anyways, that's 1.3 million new customers, and CEO guides, they're going to be accretive by 2026. So I'm assuming they mean end of 2026. But with HIMS, they've sent back so much they could be accretive in early 2026. I don't know. If you're a long-term investor, that's all you need to know, is that accretiveness is less than a year away. Well, roughly a year away, right? And I think this is quite outstanding. This is the more outstanding part, though. Right now, they have 2.4 million customers, 1.4 million personalized, 1 million non-personalized, 1.4 million customers. With that move, they've just increased the total customers to 3.7 million. So that's a 54% increase in customer count. And keep in mind, HIMS is firing up the cross-selling machine. This is a business that is very good at cross-selling. So if you have a lot of single product users on Zava, they're going to be able to cross-sell them on a lot of the other products, because the type of medical issues, your run-of-the-mill, ED or air loss, really the entry-level medical issues that HIMS deals with, these medical issues often are indicative of another issue. They're correlated with other issues. That's why they did the ED and heart health med, for example. Typically, when someone starts having a minor issue, there's a few other minor issues that they can treat, and this is where the HIMS, I think shines, and they're going to be able to do some of that cross-selling. Let us look at the business themselves. So, I checked out Zava France and Zava Deutschland. It looks like they're just getting started over there. It looks like the bigger market, the market that's in full steam for Zava is the United Kingdom. And you can see the top treatments are very similar to the top treatments that we find for HIMS in the USA. You have weight loss treatments, start at £139. Think about that. That's the price that HIMS used to have in the US before the shortage ran out, right? As soon as we were deemed not in shortage anymore, you had to 4x. But really, those weight loss treatments, the Wegovy treatments, really, the cost of the meds is really inexpensive. It's not supposed to be as expensive as it is in the US. It tells you, about anyways, think of that what you will. I will point out that the ED treatment is also cheaper in the UK, about 3 times as cheap. So that's, gosh, it seems, if you're trying to optimize for healthcare costs, UK is probably a good place for that. Anyways, compared to the US, it's crazy to see these low prices when you live in America. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let me move on. This is what I like. So a lot of people are saying, yeah, well, the expertise of HIMS will be able to bring it to the UK and Europe. Expertise of HIMS will move there. Well, I was very impressed, actually, by the expertise of Zava. Spending a little time on that website, what I see is things that HIMS doesn't do yet, especially in the general health, your standard doctor visit. They do a lot of stuff that HIMS doesn't do yet, and I think HIMS could learn from that, right? Smoking cessation, that could be a potential really big one for HIMS when I think about it. High blood pressure, HIMS is going to get into that, right? Metformin probably works a little bit. Apparently there's cholesterol treatment, cold sores. These are your run-of-the-mill. This is the day-to-day cash cow of the family office doctor down the street. Except this time it's in a digital form with 80% gross margin and 24-hour or less consult between the moment you tap a button and the moment you see a doctor via telehealth. That's truly interesting. I think there could be some synergies from Zava actually teaching HIMS a few things, because they do what LifeMD does. Zava is closer to a LifeMD. There's other things that I've never seen before, like malaria tablets. This is probably quick and easy money making, and testing kits. I'm not sure HIMS does that, or at least not in a meaningful way. Test kits, that could be another business. Anyways, I'm impressed with Zava. I'm surprised I had not found it when I had covered the potential targets for international business. I'm surprised I had not found it. But then again, if you're talking to people who are local in the UK, if you are from the UK, if you know it, please do tell in the comment section, even if you've used the service. Anyways, another kudos for HIMS House, and this is what I will conclude with, is we are getting into an explosive part of this stock, of this story. It's it's weird that it opens up 20% and then shuts down the day, closes the day at minus 3%. And this can only be explained by the shorts doubling down. And Him's House does a really good job. You should follow them, by the way, if you haven't. They do a really good job at highlighting the shorts and how much shorts there are. And you know, this is the most shorted stock in the mid-cap market. In the mid-caps, there's no other mid-cap more shorted. But if you look at all of the other companies that are shorted, quite frankly, they're not very innovative companies that are shorted. A lot of these companies are probably really good shorts. I'm not so sure about Hims and Hers. Betting against Hims and Hers and it being something like more than 30% short, I think that's a pretty crazy thing. And I would be very careful selling calls on Hims. I know they pay a lot. I know a lot of my viewers love the calls on Hims. I know they pay a lot. I've seen it. I've seen the premium. They pay a lot. But you got to be ready to lose your stock. And if you've been in this stock since the $6 range, like I have, and like many of us on this channel have been, many of us on this channel have less than a $10 range. If you're under the $10 range, think about that. You sell a call, you think you're real smart, and then boom, you get a sign, you lose your shares, and you have to pay tax. So this is a long-term story for me. Hims is a long-term story, and it's now an international long-term story. So really, the Netflix of doctors or the Amazon of doctors is an analogy that starts making more and more sense. I love seeing this direction for this company. This is a sleep well at night stock for me. I sleep very well at night owning Hims. Anyways, this was not investment advice. Not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.